Hi there, this is Bridget from the PlannerSpeechie. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to set up my bullet journal for November 2024 using the Fall Leaves Monthly Kit from Planning with K stickers. I'm also going to be using these Simply Gilded washi tapes, which I don't believe are available in her shop anymore, but she's got lots of other good stuff. So the first thing I want to say is that this kit is gorgeous. It is one of the older formats. However, I know she's reformatting a lot of her new kits. So this is an important time to be looking at her website and checking out any of the new things. I also printed, this is a free printable as a Patreon that I got. It says my favorite types of beans are coffee beans and toe beans. It's not fall specific, but I thought it would be a really fun quote for my birthday month. I'm also pulling in some headers and additional monthly headers to put in, just to pepper things in. So the first thing I like to do when I'm putting down a new monthly spread is I look at my old monthly spread and I look at all the blank pages, all the things that I set up and didn't actually use. And I decided that I needed to streamline my monthly. So this is going to be pretty short, and you can see I'm including a lot of the mistakes that I made just so you feel more at ease when you're planning. Mistakes happen, and we just do our best to avoid them. And if we can't avoid them, we can always put a sticker on top of them. I try to pull really gently when I'm putting down something like this because it actually stiffens the pages and can create bubbles underneath. So that's what I was trying to avoid. I will say my bullet journal is getting very thick on the top, and I was feeling to make sure that there wasn't anything there, but no, in fact, those are just my stickers bulking up my journal. I decided to keep my monthly cover page very simple this month. You're going to see me lay down just the beginning of this, and then I will come back later with some deco stickers and add some more depth to it. I had to speed this up 4 times the speed just to keep this video interesting, but just so you know, I took my time putting this lettering down, and it wasn't perfect, but I think it gives a little bit of authenticity to the spread. I decided to use this rose gold plaid washi on the top and the bottom just to give it a little bit of a border, and it doesn't really tie in perfectly with the quote I put on the other side, but it's still cute and very functional. The next spread is the most important part of my monthly, which is the actual laydown of the month. I prefer a vertical layout rather than a horizontal one because it gives me more opportunity to write what I need to write. So I'm using this number line from the add-on sheet just to put all of those different numbers in. These stickers are made for any dotted journal because the dimensions between the dots are pretty much the same consistently. And so if you lay it down correctly, there will be a number for each line. Then I go in and I add the days of the week on the left-hand side so I know where I'm starting. Sometimes I look at my year at a glance to make sure that I've got all of this right. And because I am laying it out like this, I like to separate the weeks with little dashed lines. So I'll put that in a minute. I'm using this really pretty header for the top to mark that it's November. And you're going to see I'm going to make a couple mistakes here. The first thing is that this particular monthly header is very long, too long for my needs, so I'm just going to trim it. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim the other side. And I actually didn't trim it just the way I wanted, so it sticks out a little bit on the end, but you're going to see how I'm going to fix that later. Next, I wanted to add something below the monthly. Now, I accidentally put this daily review. It would have been fine if I was using this page just to mark the things that I was doing that day or even a gratitude log, but I knew that I wanted to put that somewhere else. So I will eventually move that sticker too. So now I'm just putting in the dashed lines, starting with Monday at the top. So you can see I have distinct weeks there, and that will help give me some clarity onto where I am in the month and how far away I am from the weekend, etc. I'm going back to check because I like to split it up so that I have 2 different delineations for the week. The first is something that's happening, an all-day event that I need to be aware of. And then the remaining part is where I put all of my important events for the day. So if it's someone's birthday or a holiday, I'll put that in the left, and then everything else goes in the right. And this helps me keep track of things and remind myself, okay, don't try and make an appointment Thanksgiving week because it's not going to happen, that kind of thing. I tried to put in some of the personal details that I knew were happening, but you'll see that I leave this spread blank, mostly because I don't want the internet knowing all of my personal business, but it is helpful for you, the viewer, to see what this would look like with something filled in, so I tried to put in some things. Then on the right side of the page, I used a different header, and I want to use this to mark the tasks that I need to accomplish this month. This is a great place to have a brain dump for things that need to occur. So, if you know you have to pay certain bills or if you have to buy certain gifts for birthdays, you can really put anything in this part of the spread. Oh, there we go. I put in that monthly review right there. Now, this kit did come with a tasks header, so I just went ahead and used that. And then on the add on sheet, I used this smaller banner to mark my goals. Sometimes, and this was my own personal review, I don't have a million goals that I need to accomplish in a month. In fact, I don't think it would serve you well to have an entire page's worth of goals or necessarily an entire page's worth of tasks. But there's a place for both in my bullet journal. I decided I wanted to create a clear division between these two areas, so I used the leaf deco just to mark that, to spread out the header so that it would be longer. And then I used another pine cone leaf sticker to cover up that blemish that I didn't want anybody to see or to remind myself was there. And that actually turned out really well. Then I thought the border up at the top looked a little blank in places, so I decided to fill it in with some of these leaves, almost as if they were floating in air. I thought about using additional washi at the bottom to tie the pages together, and then I realized that the washi was too thick and I would have to cut it, and I decided it wasn't worth it and just moved on to the next spread. So this spread is where I'm going to put my habit tracker. Because of the nature of bullet journals, we only have a certain number of spaces, and so it's easier if you're tracking every single day to make this horizontal. So I went ahead and used this horizontal number line from the kit. I forgot that the end of the month is actually the 30th, not the 31st. So that's still going to be on there, but that's okay. And then here's where I'm going to bring in my wood grain washi. It's my favorite washi that I own, and I use it whenever I can. And then the key, I think, sometimes to using stickers, especially if they're pre-made and they're not something that you've created yourself, is layering. So I like to layer my stickers one on top of the other to give it a little more depth. I'm using the habit tracker header that came with the kit. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use some additional deco to extend the border a little bit and give it a little more depth. I had a lot of fun using this leaf deco, and in fact, I might try and figure out how to get some additional leaf deco because I use the majority of it on the monthly kit, and I want to be able to add them into my day-to-days as they continue. So I didn't lay down the habits that I'm going to be tracking this month, but I put them just below the acorn, and so they will all fall in, and I did even have room for additional habits if I decide I want to track something else. I'm using the little dots in my journal to mark where the center of the kit is, and that really helps. If you don't have anything like that in your journal, I would suggest using a ruler or even just a book or a postcard for reference so you can try and get the center of things. It really helps. I didn't really have a place for this giant circular garland, but I wanted to use it, so I just cut it in half and kind of extended the header a little bit, and then I filled it in with this tiny little leaf. And that was the end of that sticker sheet. So I used all the stickers on that sheet. I decided to combine my daily review and my gratitude logs because I really didn't utilize both last month. I think sometimes when we set these things up, we have these great ambitions that we're going to have all this time to fill things in. And I know for a fact that my fall is always incredibly busy. There are some months when I know that I would have more time to do separate ones, but given that I don't really look at my bullet journal, or at least this part of my bullet journal, for a couple of days at a time, it's really easier for me to combine them this month. So I just wrote my own number line in. And then the last thing I'm going to do to finish off this monthly spread is add some of the leaf deco to the front page to remind myself, hey, this is the theme and this is what we're going with here. Um, Sorry, my cat is tickling me. Uh, this was really fun. I was trying to think of it as like, how would the leaves fall off a tree? And I tried to put them in different orientations so that they would look a little cuter. And then I did have 4 leaves left. So you can see just as a quick flip through of the spread. And then the very last thing I'm going to do is set up the 1st of November. And the 1st of November at this point had actually already happened, so I knew what I was going to put in there. I decided to use that blue on the extra add-on sheet for the date cover, and then I always write in the date dot with the month and the year underlined. And so that is. Happy planning, everyone. Take care.